basically, Source It Sussex, we source local produce basically from across Sussex, whether that be milk from local family dairy farms, whether that be cheese, butter and other dairy products, jams, bakes, pastries, breads, you name it, we try and source it. So we have good quality stuff, but we try and bring that to communities at a reasonable price as well. But you'd obviously, that can be tricky these days, but that's another video altogether. So we do that by home deliveries, and we also do that by this van, the Source It Sussex larder. And the larder goes around visiting different locations around West Sussex. So we take the produce to people, and not only do we like to do that, but we also so that the communities can access decent produce as well, which is a good thing. But also just kind of bringing communities together, so they pop out and see us, have a coffee and a chat, and I think that's really important. So we kind of invest in community, not just for the business, but to bring people together as well. So that's a great thing. How did Source It Sussex come about? Well, we'll go on a little walk where I often have my staff meetings. Being self-employed, working on my own, staff meetings are often with myself and some of the other family members, which I'll introduce you to. So yeah, we'll go for a little wander, and I'll tell you a bit more about where Source It Sussex came from. I'm sure lots of people who own small businesses can relate to this. We have lots of staff meetings, generally on our own, in our own heads, and one of the better places for me is to have it in the countryside. And what a beautiful day it is today. Beautiful skies, and a stunning spring coming out. First bit of good weather for a while actually feels like a proper spring day today. A bit of warmth from the sun. So anyway, yeah, I thought I'd tell you a little bit more about the background of Source It Sussex. For most of my career, about 30 years, setting and delivering services for children and young people with SEND, so disabilities, etc. Mostly in operation roles, managerial roles, so I've managed really large teams, and been sat at a desk for an hour on end, fighting the ongoing fight for resources and sustainability and sustaining services as best we could. And well, I craved a bit more of this really, and after nearly 30 years at my desk, at a desk or at a meeting desk, I needed a little bit of a change. So by pure chance, and very random, we ended up taking on a small milk delivery business in 2022. Very random, but it was led by my love of Sussex. I was born and bred in Sussex. Spent much of my childhood following my father and my mother on long walks, learning about nature, being around farms, working physically as well, just being out in all weathers, and not sat at a Zoom meeting saying you're on mute and all those things that go with it. So we began by pasteurising local Jersey Guernsey milk, bottling it and delivering it to homes. We gradually broadened that to offer many more products from many more suppliers and growers and makers, etc., producers across Sussex. So we don't produce our own milk now. The costs of that just went sky high, and it just wasn't worth, or we couldn't really kind of justify passing that cost on to customers. So we now use milk from another local farm in Sussex, over near Ringmer, the Aylesbury farm. Shout out to them. So the business is still growing. It has grown, it's still growing, and still developing. We're offering the home deliveries and mobile larder that travels around, taking produce to communities and bringing people together. I am certain I am working harder now than I've ever worked before, which is a surprise considering I worked pretty hard before. I've got less money than I've ever had before, but I have got a vision and we are climbing closer to it, so hopefully we will get there at some point. It's very much a new chapter for me in my later years doing something like this and business like this, but it's much more rewarding in many ways. As I say, get to have staff meetings in places like this, listening to the birds. Don't always get the answers that I want, but it's a better place to have meetings sometimes. Just to quickly turn around and just, scenery is stunning. This place is pretty special.